Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler video series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I just bought this at a little Mexican supermarket. One of my favorite places, one of my favorite types of establishments to get review items from are Mexican supermarkets. You always find cool stuff there. But anyway, folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, spirit gun, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for today, folks? What happens to be my chapter black Yu Yu Hakusho shirt. Which, super cool design. I love this. They're, I don't know if they're still doing it. I think it's probably still a thing, but like, there was definitely this run at least a few years ago of sort of taking like anime and, you know, imposing like the art style onto like famous comic book style, you know, designs. And that's kind of where this comes from, you know, sort of the Infinity Gauntlet design. Plus, Chapter Black is just an awesome arc within the Yu Yu Hakusho series. If you don't know what Yu Yu Hakusho is, it's a long-standing anime that came out, I believe, in the early 90s. Sort of was part of that, you know, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball generation. And I think it's an awesome series. Really love what it, you know, did. And, you know, I'd love to see it come back. I'd love to see the creator is a guy named Togashi, who is probably these days more famous for his Hunter x Hunter series. I'd love to see him return to Yu Yu Hakusho. I'd love to see him. I know he has all kinds of health problems and stuff, unfortunately, so it's pretty unlikely, but I'd love to see it. But anyway, folks, what am I trying for today, folks? What did I pick up from Mexican supermarket? Well, it happens to be, boom! What is this, though? This is Sangría Casera, which is a Sangría Soda. Okie doke. And as far as, I looked it up a little bit, because I'm familiar with like sangria to a very minimal extent. Like I know I've had like sangria sodas. Sort of like a mix of fruit and wine flavor kind of deal. And I believe this is actually from Pepsi. I don't know if it actually says, I don't know, it might say somewhere, but there's a lot of things on it. But yeah, man, so I haven't had a sangria soda in I don't know how long. There was a sangria Mountain Dew, by the way. People who forget that. But let's give this a shot. I'm guessing you're not going to be. No. Okay. That's fine. That's what we have our, Lego. Lego. Trusty electrical cabinet key for. Works great for electrical cabinets and for opening bottles. Alright. Let's give it a go. Okay. That's different than I recall. Again, I'm not super experienced with sangria sodas. I know, like, it's, you know, it's an actual drink by itself, too. But that definitely has a different flavor profile. Like, it's somewhat similar, but a little bit different take than I recall. I could definitely see this being made by Pepsi, though. Okay. It's not bad. Like, it's an interesting experience. It almost feels like a little bit of an old style soda, you know, sort of along the lines like your Dr. Peppers or your Moxies, you know, things like that, like really old sodas. Because a lot of times, you know, they'd be flavored with like roots or, you know, like more earthy type of things. That's kind of, you know, it feels a little bit less conventional than contemporary sodas. It drinks pretty nice. I personally would like a little bit more carbonation. You know, that's just me. You know, different countries, different companies, you know, they all sort of work with their own, you know, levels of carbonation that they like. But I like the way that it drinks for the most part. I just like a little bit more bite to it. The flavor itself, yeah, I can definitely get sort of a kind of a wine, kind of a fruit sort of flavor. And it is really interesting because, like, it's fruity, but, like, trying to define specifically what fruit, at least for me, is not an easy thing. And I'm guessing it's probably some combination of things, and then again, you have sort of like a, like a wine type of aspect or what have you. It's kind of semi-sweet, like it's not a overly sweetened drink, and then there's like a little bit of a kind of mild sourness to it. So again, sort of emulating like a like a wine, with elements of sweetness, elements of sourness, things like that. But it's nice. It's refreshing. I will say, again, definitely tastes different than I remember Sangría Soda tasting. And I'm not just talking about the Mountain Dew one. I'm talking about, the more proper ones I've had in the past. Yeah, I don't know. It's good overall. It does feel maybe not one note, but like 1.2 notes. Because the initial hit is nice. Again, it's got kind of a nice fruity flavor. Sort of a mild, sort of kind of wine-ish sort of flavor. Not that I'm a fucking expert on wine flavors. And then again, it's got like a little bit of a tanginess at the end to give you a little finish with a little something extra. Yeah, it's not bad. It just, I don't know, it doesn't feel as strong as I remember these being, but I'll have to try another one at some point in the future so I can kind of compare and contrast a little bit. But yeah, I think overall it's still nice. Again, it kind of reminds me of older style sodas, and I like older style sodas, so even if they're not always the most complex drinks in the world, I appreciate what they bring to the table, and that's kind of where I'm at with this. Two questions have to be asked, though. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Maybe and sure. Now, reason why I say maybe, excuse me, is because I would like to try, I'm going to go over there if I remember to do it. I'm going to try to go out and find some more Sangría Sodas, and I'd like to go over there and kind of get a better flavor base to work off of. Because I don't mind this at all. Again, it's pretty tasty, it's a decent drinking experience, but it is, again, different than my memory of it, which could just be complete bullshit for all intents and purposes, but I'd like to try out other ones before I went back to this one and got it again to see, find my personal favorite, basically. But at the same time, even as is, it's not a bad experience. I do enjoy it. It wouldn't be a go-to drink for me, but I could see grabbing it every once in a while. If I'm recommending it, though, sure. Because, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. I mean, I can't speak specifically to how good or bad it is as a Sangría Soda, because, again, my data is incomplete. I need more to work with to build on top of. But, worst case scenario, it's just not a bad drink at all. It's, again, it's decent enough. And if I'm if I'm going over there and I'm kind of talking to somebody who's more of a layman, basically like myself, who maybe doesn't have a lot of experience with it, it probably wouldn't be the first soda I would recommend to people who aren't familiar with this type of soda. If you're more of a conventional, Coke and Crush and, what have you type of person, that's perfectly fine. Because it is a little bit out there. It's probably not going to be for everybody, but worst case scenario, I don't think you'll hate it or anything. It's just, again, a little bit less conventional. But anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there and have yourselves a truly sangria-tastic rest of your life, I guess. I'd like to see him bring back the Sangria Mountain Dew. I don't think it did very well, unfortunately. Like, it used to be exclusive to Taco Bell's, like the Baja Blast, and then they eventually brought it out in, like you could buy it at gas stations and stuff. That's where I got it from when I was working my gas station job. And, yeah, it just kind of came and went. It hasn't been a lot of fanfare to bring it back, I don't think. I think I liked it. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, do you have any recommendations for Sangría Sodas? I'd be genuinely interested. Like, I'm always interested. I'm not just talking out my ass when I do these little outros. I like hearing about other people's experience, but it's even better when I can go over there and ask people, like, hey, what's your opinion on something? Because I might actually go over there and look into it and, see if I can get a hold of it. Because like I said, I haven't had a lot of Sangría Sodas. I could probably count them on one hand and still have a finger or two left over. But I think I'd like to go over there and explore a little bit, But we'll see. Anyway,